This is the story of the time someone tried to murder me at sleepaway camp, and this is not even clickbait, like legit story. For some background, I went to sleepaway camp for 8 years, and boy, do I have stories to tell. Anyone who's been to sleepaway camp can probably attest to the fact that shit happens at sleepaway camp. So I've decided, let me tell you one of my favorite stories, and it's my murder attempt. This happened year 2, by the way. So I was 10 years old. For the sake of this story, I'm not going to say his name, but that's only because I forgot his name. But in future camp stories, I will definitely say people's real names because I have no problem outing people who have done me dirty on the internet. So for this year in camp, I was on the top bunk and there was no ladder for some reason on my bunk. So I had to step on this dresser every single time to get up to the top bunk. And the dresser belonged to the kid who slept below me, who I wasn't really friends with, but he was nice. Little did I know he was an attempted murderer, so funny. So one night I wake up in the middle of the night, it's really, really late, everyone is asleep, I go down to get some water, and on my way back up, I'm climbing the thing as usual, on the steps, and I guess for whatever reason, this kid decided to put a framed picture of him and his mom, on the nightstand, right where I put my foot, and I hit it on my way up, and it fell on the floor, and it cracked. And my bad, totally my mistake, I'll pay for a new frame, whatever. The next morning, I told him, hey, I'm so sorry, I broke your thing, whatever. He was fine with it, he's like, okay, that's no problem. He lied. So a week passes, I forget the incident ever even happened, and I'm sitting outside my cabin in a picnic table with 10 other people, and this kid is sitting next to me. And he has a stick in his hand, which is normal. I guess people carry sticks at camp. I really didn't care. I then noticed that one side of the stick was really sharp. It was carved to be a steak, a vampire steak. So literally seconds after I notice this kid is holding a vampire steak, he proceeds to lift it up over his head and slam it into my chest so hard it knocks me out of my seat at the picnic table and I land on the floor, my back on the floor, and I'm dazed. I don't even know what happened just now. But guys, guess what? This kid, thank God he's a stupid little idiot, this kid hit me with the wrong side of the stick. He hit me with the stick part, not the sharpened part, because he's a stupid little idiot. So while I'm laying there, mouth agape on the floor, shook as to what just happened to me, this kid, after realizing that he failed to his one attempt to murder me, jumps on me and is screaming you ruined my picture, my mother, I love my mom. I'm oh my God, this had nothing to, it was an accident. I went to go pee, and in my time peeing, you put up an image of you and your mom where I put my foot every night. How is that my fault? You were asking me to kick it. Anyways, guys, this kid leaves camp 2 days later, not because he tried to murder me, but because he missed his mom so much that he went home. You guys asked for it, so here is the story of the time my dad, and then also me, I guess, accidentally almost poisoned my entire cabin. Also, side note, I'm really happy that you guys loved my last camp story video because I actually have 100 more to go through, and they're all real. I promise you, this is a real story. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, so my camp is 7 weeks long, but the session I went for, session 1, was only the first month. And at the end of the first month, it's a tradition for your parents to send you a huge care package of candy. Since you can't really talk to them every day, you're only allowed 1 phone call or 2 phone calls the entire summer. Kind of problematic. Anyways, my dad always went all out with my candy care packages. Shout out to my dad. Literally, I was the candy bitch of the summer. I was that bitch. So because my candy was the best in the entire cabin, I was the best candy dealer of the summer. And so because I'm silly and cutesy, I guess, and problematic at the age of 10, created a list of people's names and ranks that the top rank is VIP, and VIPs were either my friends or other people who had good candy that I could trade with. And I would trade the VIPs lollipops or chocolate bars, stuff like that. And then all the ranks all the way went down to peasant at the lower end. That's so bad. And those are people I didn't like or people who had bad candy or no candy at all to trade me with. So I reserved my bad candies for the peasants. Also, yes, I know that's really problematic. Okay, I know. Calling my cabin mates peasants because they had bad candy. I know that's a bad thing, but I'm 10 years old, I can't take back my actions, and I'm just living my truth. Okay, so forgive me. So one of the candies that I had reserved for the peasants were pixie sticks, and if you guys don't know, pixie sticks are little tubes of flavored sugar, basically. I didn't like pixie sticks, but it was very popular in my cabin. A lot of the peasants, campers, a lot of other campers would come up to me and ask for pixie sticks, but for whatever reason, I was oh, I don't want to give that one out yet. So I didn't give out any of these pixie sticks until one day. Finally, I realized I'm not gonna eat these pixie sticks, so then a peasant came up, oh my God, a camper came up to me and asked for a pixie stick. And finally I was like, yeah, you know what? Take the pixie stick. So I gave him pixie stick, and it was in this weird wrapper, but I didn't really pay attention to that. Gave him pixie stick, gave him a couple, and he like walked away. Then I was like, you know, might as well, I should eat one too. Opened up a pixie stick, and I'm like, wait, this feels weird. It's like thick plastic. So I turn over the back of like the package it came in, and it says that these are pixie stick flavored bath scents, that they're not actual pixie sticks. And you guessed it, they're poisonous to eat. They could cause a lot of harm. So I'm like, like what's going on? So I yelled, I'm like, oh my God, kid, like, I don't remember his name. Come back here, give me the pixie stick. Like, don't eat that. And guys, like, I had given him a lot of pixie sticks. And at this point, this kid had already given out like the extra pixie sticks to other campers. So I had to go around and like snatch pixie sticks from people and then go like, sorry guys, it's just poison that my dad sent me. No big deal. This is the story of how my Irish counselor named Kevin ruined my entire summer because he had a personal vendetta against me, even though I was 11 years old and he was literally like an adult. This story is in no way meant to reflect bad things on the Irish community. I love my Irish followers, except not Kevin. I don't like Kevin. Also, stay tuned because Kevin gets fired in this story, so peace and justice get served. So we had like 4 counselors in my age group, and Kevin was one of the counselors that slept closest to me, so like he was my counselor. And throughout the whole summer, like he just started giving me weird glances, like was ignoring me, like something was up, something was awry. And it was weird. I'm like, Kevin, what's up? Like, you're weird. So July 4th rolls around, which particularly is a very sad day for me because it's both of my parents' birthdays and I cannot celebrate with them because I'm in another state when I'm like little, don't have a phone because they take your phones at this camp. And that day, my phone call that I was supposed to have with my parents literally got pushed back. So I couldn't even call my parents on their birthday. So it was a very emotional day for me. I was a wreck. It was not good. So as I'm doing my chore for the morning, because every morning you get a different chore, my chore was like dusting the floors. Very dusty this day. I make like a big ass dust pile. Like I am working, like slaving away at these like dusts, and I make a big pile, and I'm like, whew. As I'm like exhaling from because I'm about to like pick up the dust, Kevin walks over and kicks my dust pile all over the cabin. And so obviously I'm like, what the fuck, Kevin? I don't think I said the fuck word, but I'm like, what the fuck, Kevin? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how to do an act. I'm sorry. I didn't see your pile over there. Like, obviously he's fucking lying because I saw him. Like, he like looked at my pile and kicked it. Like, it was not like he like didn't see my pile. Like, he literally kicked my pile. Okay, whatever. That incident passes. And then, like, a couple days later, I'm in art class. And that day, like, the pottery lady came in. She's like, okay, we have 4 spots open. Who wants to do pottery? And, like, in my 4 years of going to that camp, I had never done pottery. And I asked every single time because they just, like, never picked me. For whatever reason, this day, I get picked. And it's like, I'm celebrating. Like, yes, pottery! But guess who works in pottery? Kevin! So we go to the pottery room. We're a little crunched for time. So like she's giving us like a quick rundown of how to make the pot. And like I'm doing my little thing, like, you know, having fun. Kevin decides to like Irish jig his way over to my seat and go, let me help you. And I'm like, I don't need help. It's okay. He goes, I'm gonna help you on anyway. He proceeds to put his hands in my pot and break it in half to the point where it comes undone from the little wheel and flies across the room. So I'm like, what the fuck, Kevin? Part 2. And then the pottery lady comes over and she's like, this is a big mess. Like, we don't have enough time. I'm sorry, you need to leave. And guys, like, this was a huge deal. Like, I wanted to do pottery so bad. I talked about it every day, especially to Kevin. So the fact that he went out of his way to ruin my pot speaks volumes. A couple days later, Kevin gets fired for drinking on the job. And then in his goodbye letter, he wrote everyone's name in the cabin except for mine. Welcome back to Sleepaway Camp Horror Stories. Today's story is probably the most TMI thing I've ever shared on the internet. So any future lovers, just scroll past this video. I don't know why I'm sharing. Today's story is the time I defecated myself on the school bus and then on the floor and then on the wall of my cabin and then in my bed. So, yay! So it was the first field trip of the summer, and we were taking a day trip to a movie theater a couple hours away, and it was also the first time in my entire life that I was unsupervised with access to unlimited popcorn, candy, and drinks. So I did what any intelligent 10-year-old would do, and had 4 Dr. Peppers and 5 million rounds of popcorn with extra butter and tons of candy, and didn't expect it to come out the other end. So, I mean, maybe I wasn't that intelligent. As the movie is coming to a close, I noticed my tummy starting to rumble, and when the counselor was like, last call for bathrooms, I obviously didn't raise my hand and didn't go to the bathroom. I wish I could tell you the reason why I did that. 20 minutes into the school bus ride home, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I asked to pull over and they're like, no, we can't do that. Like, you're just gonna have to hold it for the next hour and 45 minutes until we get home. The next hour and 45 minutes are probably the hardest hour and 45 minutes I've ever spent on earth. I held in my poop with every single fiber of my soul. My dead ancestors were like watching over me, helping me like hold in my poop. That's how bad the situation was. Oh, not to mention I was wearing a bathing suit with no underwear because I hadn't done my laundry yet that entire summer. So that also added to my pain. Finally, we get to camp, and at this point, it's already starting to trickle out of my bathing suit onto the floor of the bus. And so the counselors pulled over at my cabin instead of like at the bus stop and had me run out of the cabin. And of course, every single step I ran to my cabin, more trickled out from my bathing suit until I finally get to the bathroom. Couldn't even make it to the toilet. I don't even remember what happened. It's all an explosion of brown in my memory, but all over the wall, all over the floor, all over the toilet seat, all over the cabin. At this point, there's a convenient line of shit tracing from the bus straight to the stall in which I was hiding in, or attempting to hide because there's no point in hiding at this point. Eventually, like, the rest of my cabin comes in and they follow the yellow brick road of shit straight to my stall where I am hysterical crying and no one helps me. Somehow I like make it out of that and it's nighttime now and I'm ready to go to bed and like get it over with, and so I have to toot. So I let out a little toot, and obviously it's not a little toot, it's a big fucking shit, and I shit my bed. So I then threw out all of my sheets and then wrapped myself in a dirty towel and called it a night. Yay! This is the story of the time I completely, utterly embarrassed myself by going in front of my entire camp to do a talent show performance without having a talent or rehearsing anything at all. I decided it'd be a really cute idea to sign up for the talent show one day to do tongue twisters. Where did that idea come from? I don't know. I literally don't know. But I decided it'd be really fun to do it, and so I signed up without thinking about it for the rest of the time. Lo and behold, the day the talent show rolls around. No, not the day of the talent show. Lo and behold, we're going to the talent show, and then all of a sudden it hits me, oh my God, I signed up to do it today, and I don't have anything prepared at all. So I'm sitting there, and as the first couple acts are going, I'm like starting to freak out. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? What's going on here? I don't have tongue twisters memorized. I don't even know tongue twisters. Next thing you know, the MC comes out, and he's like, Asher. And I stand my little ass up, and I walk to the front of the stage without having anything prepared still. And I kid you not, this is what I did. Are you ready? This is what I did word for word. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHDFEDCBA. I said the alphabet backwards. That's all I did. In front of 500 people, by the way. And as I'm standing there realizing that, oh, this is not enough for a talent show, I start going, okay, I remember one tongue twister, I think. And I go, which, oh, sorry, wait, I messed up. Which, never mind. Thank you. And I sit back down. Even the MC, he's a counselor, he's an adult, he goes, wow, that was very impressive. Look, I can do it too. Blah, 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 blah. You don't have to be mean about it, though. He literally did that in front of everyone, and everyone started laughing. And as I'm walking back to my seat, and then I break down crying. To make matters worse, a kid in my cabin named Louie, and by the way, yes, his real name is Louie. I told you I was not going to filter out any names for people who've done me dirty before. His name is Louie. Louie goes, oh, Asher, I can't believe you took the slot of our cabin for the talent show. I actually wanted a chance to win this year. And before, like I can look at the counselor to, like, back me up, the counselor literally looks at Louie, looks back at me, and he's like, it's true. I don't know why you took our cabin slot. Oh! Oh! What the fuck? This is the story of the time my sleepaway camp just completely forgot I existed. So my sleepaway camp had this tradition where if you go for 5 years, at the final campfire of the summer, the head of the entire camp comes out with a bunch of jackets with a 5-year embroidery on it and then gives speeches about every single camper who's reached that 5-year milestone and then gives them the jacket. And everyone claps, the whole camp is there. It's a really cute ceremony. So it was my 5th year going to this camp and I was so excited to get this jacket. I honestly only went to get the jacket because, I don't know, I didn't like any of the kids there at this point. So I was literally going to camp for the jacket. I was waiting for that moment, waiting for my speech. So the final campfire rolls around and I see the head of the camp coming out with all the jackets, and I'm sitting in my seat. I'm squealing. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited for my speech. I love attention. You know how it is. And so he goes up, starts making all the speeches, starts to go on. I'm like waiting for my name. The name never happens. So I'm waiting there. I'm like, he forgot my name. But then I look around. I'm like, one of my other friends didn't have a jacket either. I'm like, okay, he forgot a couple people. Like, he must be coming back out. So I asked my counselor, I'm like, hey, can you go remind him, like, about my jacket? And the counselor's like, no, it's okay. He'll remember. I'm like, the counselor hated me, but that's besides another story for that one. So the counselor that hated me was correct, and the head of the camp comes back out with like 4 more jackets, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot 4 people. So now I'm waiting there, I'm like, squeal, part 2. I'm like so excited for my speech. He names the 4 people that got the other jackets, and I'm still not one of them. By now it's getting late, so like all the little kiddie campers get to go to their cabins because it's their bedtime. So I'm like, great, that's less people who can applaud for me when I get my jacket. So I'm like kind of pissed off now. And so finally he comes back on, he's like, oh my God, I forgot a jacket. And I'm like, finally, he's gonna say my name. And then he gives a whole speech, and I'm from Florida, by the way. And he starts off like, when I met this camper from Florida, it was a throwback moment. I'm like waiting. I'm like, it's me. I'm like, thank you guys. Thank you. Like giving my Oscar speech. He doesn't say my name. He said another kid's name, and everyone applauds, and I'm sitting there in shock. Now I'm literally bawling. I'm bawling. And my counselor that hated me was finally like, fine, I will ask about your jacket. And so he goes off, and 20 minutes pass, and now half the camp is sleeping, and I'm still waiting there with no fucking jacket. Now, like 11 o'clock at night, he comes back out and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot. This one is for Asher. Gives it to me. I didn't even get a speech. Yeah. I dedicated 5 years of my life. I got bullied for 5 years by campers and counselors only to not get a jacket. No, I got a jacket only to not get a speech. Right. The least I could have gotten was a speech about my jacket. Fuck you. This is the story of the time there was a mystery shower pooper at my sleepaway camp, and then I launched an investigation to find out who it was. So it all started one day during rest hour, which is the period after lunch where you have an hour to do whatever you want. We were all chilling in the cabin, playing cards, doing whatever, when suddenly we hear a scream coming from the bathroom. Being the nosy Nelly that I am, I immediately jumped up with a couple of my friends. We ran to the bathroom and saw a group of kids huddled around one of the showers. So I squeezed my way to the front, and sitting there, right at the bottom of one of the showers, is a massive piece of poop. It literally looked as if it was like a commercial for poop, because it was just sitting there really put together. I'm sorry, this is so TMI, but like put together and just really glistening in the shower heat. We're all 10 years old, so we know better to not shit in the shower. So right away, everyone's like, who did it? Who did it? Who was in the shower last? Like, everyone is denying it. Everyone. And then the counselor comes in, he's like, guys, leave. Let it go, whatever. I'm not one to let things go. No. I'm getting to the bottom of who made the shit in the shower. Now, right away, I had 3 suspects. And yes, I'm gonna name them. Lewis, Aiden, and Josh. So first up for interrogations was Josh, just because I was closer with him, and I thought if he did do it, he would probably tell me. So I asked him, like, where were you at the time of the shit? Do you have an alibi anyone can confirm? And it turns out he did. He was not in the cabin at the time of the shit, so I crossed him off the list, moved on to the next person. Next on my interrogation list was Lewis, but this interview I knew was gonna be a little bit harder, because Lewis hated me, and I hated him. Actually, I was banned from going into his bed area, so I had to yell my interview questions from across the cabin. He just basically said F off and didn't want to talk to me, so didn't get much out of that interview. Last on my list was Aiden. And now Aiden was the quiet type, but I like a quiet type, so I had to play good cop with him. That was my strategy going into it. And he had the bunk at the top corner, so it was very secluded, very secretive already. So my suspicion meter was going up a little bit. So I go to his bed, and it's just us two. Everyone else is out of the cabin, and I'm just talking to him for a long time. And then I ask him, what are your thoughts about, like, the shower shit situation? Ooh, that's a little alliteration. What are your thoughts on the shower shit situation? And he's like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. And I'm like, because I think it was him at this point, I'm like, no, it's not. If someone shit in the shower, like, I'd understand. And then he goes, oh, you would? I'm like, yeah, I would. I really would. He then goes, fine, can I tell you something? But you can't tell anyone. It was me. I shit in the shower. My stomach just hurt and it plopped out, At the moment of the confession, chills ran through my spine. Everything I had worked so hard for the last 30 minutes had finally been worth it. And then I told everyone else in the cabin. Whoops! I'm sorry, Aiden, if you're watching this. I'm sorry for telling everyone. I'm sorry, I do. So something happened to me in sleepaway camp my second year that is so ridiculous and impossible that even I don't think it happened. But it did. And this is my truth. So I woke up one morning, everything was normal, and then I started noticing that people are looking at me. And like normally like people look at me because I'm like hot, you know, I get it. But no, this morning they're looking at me as if something like grew on my face. I was infectious or something. Like it was the weird little glances from the corner, and I knew something was awry. So then one of the counselors comes up to me and he goes, Asher, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. Like, I get I hadn't showered yet that whole summer, but like, I didn't know other people could tell. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what's going on? So I'm like, okay, yeah, why would I not be okay? And he's like, even after last night? I was like, what happened last night? Like, what do you mean? I went to bed. Like, it was a normal night. He's like, you don't remember crying for 5 hours straight? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, you cried so hard and woke everyone up that I needed to take you outside, and we had like an hour-long conversation on the front porch. I was like, no, you're lying. Like, that never happened. He was like, Asher, stop kidding. Like, it's okay to admit you were crying. Everyone gets homesick. Like, you were crying for your mom. Like, we almost called your mom because you were crying so hard nonstop. I was gagged. Because when I tell you I had no memory of this happening, like literally no memory of this happening. The counselor explained how I cried so hard and for so long that I kept not only the cabin up, but the counselors up too, because they had to look after me. And like that was extra weird because I like prided myself in not crying over missing my parents, even though every other kid would. Because it was like very normal for like one kid to cry over missing their parents a day. I never did. I only cried because I got bullied. That's a different story. Okay, that one's okay to cry about. It's not okay to cry about your parents. That's little kid behavior. I have come to the conclusion that that was just like a sleep crying incident. Like I guess I was sleep talking and like cried for the entire night accidentally. So that's just fucking crazy. And no one believes me that happened, but it did, so. One of my really good friends from Sleepaway camp got in serious trouble after he tried to himself during one of our camp activities. Welcome back to Sleepaway Camp Horror Stories. Today's story is probably one of my favorite memories from camp ever. And I know that sounds messed up, but I promise, just listen. You know how we all have like that one friend that's the most unlucky human being alive? Yeah, well, the girl I'm talking about in my story is that friend. So that day we were at Outdoor Adventure, which is basically the place you go to for like physical team building activities. And the activity for the day was to get from one platform to the other only using a rope that was hanging in the middle from a tree. And at the bottom of the rope, it was like kind of a noose situation, right? To put your foot to swing across. So we had all gone, we had all had our turn. Now last up is my friend, because our task was to get everyone across successfully, and that was the only way we passed. So we're like all there to root her on and watch. So as she is about to swing, she ends up slipping on the edge of the ledge. Okay, Dr. Sue, she slips. And by somehow, she manages to slip in the exact position that her head falls in the little noose part of the rope. Now, everyone just immediately is like, oh my God. She's fine, by the way. She doesn't die. But everyone is like, oh my God. And like starts breaking out in laughter. Because like obviously somehow if there were to be a person that like falls into a noose and almost kills themselves, it's this girl. So she gets up flustered, but we're all laughing, we're all having fun. All of a sudden the counselor calls her over. And we're all like, what? Like, what's going on? The counselor then yells at her for like the next 20 minutes saying, jokes are not funny, how dare you make that? And we're all like, oh my God, it was an accident. Like, that was literally an accident. And the counselors just did not seem to understand. My friend was crying at this point. I felt so bad for her. Like, imagine falling into a noose. Like, you can't make that up. She ended up not getting kicked out of camp, but like, it was threatened. It was threatened. But I almost got kicked out of camp too. But that's a story for another time, and I'm not even about to get into that. So one time I might have maybe gotten this 12-year-old girl's Instagram account permanently deleted because another Instagram account with 500,000 followers reposted her profile picture and username telling all their followers to report her for fraud. Welcome back to Sleepaway Camp Horror Stories. This story is about the time I meddled in something I probably shouldn't have and ended up ruining a 12-year-old girl's life. I'm sorry. And stay tuned because I actually have picture evidence this time. So let's go back to the beginning. Basically, it was the first day at Sleepaway Camp. We were all introducing ourselves, and we had to say one fun fact about ourselves. And this girl, this 12-year-old girl, says that she runs an Instagram slime account with 500,000 followers. Now, at the time, I was the manager of my 8-year-old sister's slime Instagram account. So I knew a thing or two about the slime world on Instagram. So I tell this girl, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, what's the name of your account? Pretty quickly on, I got the vibe that this girl was lying, which is fair. Like, you're 12 years old, you're allowed to lie about whatever. But like, for personal reasons, I just wanted to prove she was lying. So I messaged this Instagram account, not expecting a reply, because again, they have 500,000 followers, being like, hey, are you this girl? And to my surprise, the Instagram account replies to me saying, no, who the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, this girl is just telling people that she runs this Instagram account, but like she doesn't. That's okay. I got the information I needed. We're done here. To my surprise, this Instagram account with 500,000 followers posts this girl's Instagram account. Username, profile picture, photos, everything. Telling all their followers to report this girl for fraud and impersonation. Then eventually, I guess she got enough reports because her account got permanently deleted. Now, I did some digging and I found the Snapchat story that she posted after her account got deleted. You can see she's on the verge of tears. I'm sorry. Taking a break from Insta. No, girl, she was not taking a break. Girl, she got deleted. And poor girl, because she had no idea any of this was going on behind the scenes. And again, I just wanted to prove she was lying for my own sake. I did not know it was going to be like a public cancel thing.